What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't gotta say it up here. Let anything happen, and I'ma show you and him. Bet.
In shape, 145.
Yeah.
In shape. You know what I mean? So this is different from a Crawford coming up to 168, but we know his walk around weight is probably 170, 180.
The fight that I couldn't believe, that was too insane and honestly just baffling to think would be a real fight in 2025, reminds you that combat sports are the craziest sports.
Chaos erupted at the press conference for the Gervonta Davis vs. Jake Paul showdown, turning routine promotion into a heated clash. Davis lost his cool when pressed about choosing Paul over top-ranked opponents, while Paul fired back by taunting Davis's personal issues and background. The exchange grew so intense that moderators had to step in to restore order.
Truly, when people run back this press conference, all the shit talk, all the fun, they're going to be like, wow, this kid really is doing something monumental in the sport, and he's actually an insane boxer. And I'm going to show that this guy who's been doing it his whole life has been doing it wrong his whole life.
What'd you say, Tank?
He said he gonna outbox me. Whoop-de-doo.
The one thing, when you have a fight of this magnitude, especially with Jake, because his appeal has been global. For you, Tank, do you think this is one of those fights where now all of a sudden you can show your boxing skills on a global scale to maybe people who weren't interested in boxing? All of a sudden they say, well, who is this guy?
Yeah, it's actually like, you know, now that I'm looking at it now, it's just like, I don't know.
From the start, the atmosphere was anything but friendly. At 6 feet 1 inch, Paul towered over Davis's 5 feet 5 inches frame, a stark reminder of the size gap fueling pre-fight debates. Paul seized on that advantage, boasting that his reach and power would keep Davis at a distance. Davis, a seasoned lightweight champion used to facing taller foes, countered with confidence, vowing that his speed and precision would make size meaningless once the fight began. One major flashpoint was the stark size difference between the two fighters. Many observers, including major media voices, dismissed the matchup as unfair or even a circus act before it began. Davis, an undefeated lightweight champion, is set to face a social media star-turned-boxer who naturally fights at much heavier weights. The bout being classified as an exhibition rather than a sanctioned title fight has only intensified debates about its legitimacy.
But yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect to boxing, in my opinion. Once again, continue to pimp out the sport for his own financial ends. And worse still, the powers that be in boxing allowing him to get away with it and facilitating this utter bullshit. And meanwhile, what's even worse about this is that the WBA lightweight title that Tank Davis should be defending against Lamont Roach in a rematch. They fought.
It's no secret that Paul thrives on drama and provocation, and this press conference was designed to create viral chaos. The clown antics, the shoving, the legal jabs, all of it turned the event into something closer to a reality show meltdown than a standard boxing presser. Reports described the spectacle as all noise and fury, full of theatrics but offering little real substance or insight.
Jake will kind of bounce in between doing these entertainment fights and then, trying to push toward his goal of ingraining himself in the sport of boxing, and kind of does both of them. So it's kind of a weird place to be, because he wants the respect of the boxing fans and the boxing hierarchy and hardcore boxing people, but at the same time, he'll gain some of that and then lose some of it. It's like a seesaw of his fights. Like one fight, like, okay, that's a real fight, or that's a real fighter. And he'll go and he'll win the fight. Julio Cesar Chavez, real fighter, maybe past his prime, whatever, but Jake goes and wins that fight pretty easily, and then gets a lot of respect, gets a lot of the boxing hardcore love. And you have these talks about him fighting Anthony Joshua, and that was going to get even more respect. More people were like, that's fucking crazy. What are you doing? Myself included. That seemed like a massive risk, but a lot of people were like, okay, fair play. Anthony Joshua, that's a real heavyweight. Jake wants to fight him. He's a psycho, but fair play. And then you announce this one, and it's like, well, that's the same thing people have been saying about Jake for years, so it's a weird spot to be in for him for sure. But I talked about this not being the first choice, and I don't think it was, because Coppinger reports next that talks for Jake Paul to face Anthony Joshua collapsed over network issues. Now, we had all heard the talks, and they were pretty public, from Eddie Hearn, from Jake. Nakisa Badarian, Jake's manager, was over in the UK on, I think, Sky Sports, talking about the fight and saying how it was a real...
Keith Thurman highlighted a sharp irony, how Gervonta Davis's critics actually boost his success. He noted that the same people who constantly bash Davis's performances never miss a single fight. They claim he's overrated, yet they're always watching. Thurman argues that their obsession, even when negative, only amplifies Davis's visibility and keeps his name trending. In trying to tear him down, they're unintentionally helping build his legacy.
First off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, because that's all for entertainment. What is it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, So, it's money-making purposes only,
Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back in criticizing the growing trend of mismatched exhibition fights, including Jake Paul's bout with Mike Tyson. He said he was disappointed, and even disgusted, by such matchups, bluntly calling them unbalanced spectacles. Smith stressed that if Paul wants real respect, he needs to face active, credible boxers instead of retired athletes or faded stars. Still, he acknowledged Paul's promotional skill and the spotlight he brings to boxing. Smith also weighed in after the controversial majority draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach in March, rejecting the idea that Davis deserved criticism. He praised Davis's composure under pressure and his readiness to run it back immediately, calling it the mark of a true champion determined to reaffirm his dominance.
Damn if it's a light heavyweight, better be a Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican Monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation. The time has come for Jake Paul to step into the ring with a cat who actually boxes for a living and give us that fight. I appreciate the fact of him promoting. I appreciate him having the cachet as a former YouTuber turned boxer. I like Jake Paul. I respect Jake Paul. I'm just saying, because I like him and because I respect him, I want to see him in the ring. And I don't want to hear, I know his numbers are better, but then he gonna say, I don't need Canelo, Canelo needs me. Well, wait a minute. It ain't.
He went as far as ranking Davis among the top 3 fighters in the world, praising his power, skill, and knockout ability. Tank is an elite world champion with proven credentials, while Jake Paul remains a YouTuber turned boxer still finding his footing in the sport. Smith argued that taking on such a vastly less experienced opponent could tarnish Davis's legacy. In his view, the matchup is far beneath Tank's caliber, so much so that he declared Davis should be ashamed to even entertain it. He views the Paul vs. Davis fight on Netflix as a massive attraction, especially for younger American audiences. He points out that while Canelo vs. Crawford will captivate Mexican and Latin American fans, the Paul Davis exhibition is likely to dominate attention in the US, particularly among viewers under 20. Romero believes both events expand boxing's overall popularity, calling it a win for the sport. Though he sees Canelo vs. Crawford as the more legitimate matchup, he admits Paul vs. Davis will likely draw the bigger American crowd.
Paul the Tank Davis, it's a legit question. And I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win. Because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. That weight class is for a reason.
Davis
that weight class is for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30 pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30 pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what
WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson issued a pointed warning to Davis amid the hype surrounding Tank's fight with Paul. Stevenson criticized Davis for choosing an exhibition bout, calling it a disrespect to the sport. He argued that true credibility comes from facing real contenders, not entertainers, and confidently challenged Davis to prove his standing by stepping into the ring with him instead.
What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers issued a strong warning to Jake Paul ahead of his bout with Gervonta Davis, emphasizing that Paul's previous opponents haven't prepared him for what's coming. Chambers highlighted Davis's blend of speed, knockout power, and ring IQ, traits Paul rarely encounters. He noted that while Paul's past wins came against older or less experienced fighters, Davis is on another level entirely. According to Chambers, Paul will need to significantly raise his game or risk being outclassed by Davis's elite skills and composure under pressure.
This can happen, but this is social media. This is what is created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from it. And it ain't going to be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference, and all that, but he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's going to look bad. Tank is going to be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's going to knock him out or.
The Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis matchup has drawn sharp criticism from experts who see it as spectacle over sport. Many argue the fight is driven more by massive paydays and viral hype than genuine competition. They describe it as a cartoonish, money-driven sideshow, where traditional boxing values, skill, merit, and legacy are sidelined in favor of social media buzz and revenue. In their eyes, this represents a troubling departure from the sport's proud history and the seriousness that once defined boxing.
Matchup at all. You got Gervonta Davis, who's been eating county jail spreads for the last month and a half, and he didn't look good in his last fight against Roach, where he had a draw, but most people felt like he got his ass tapped, so he needs the money. Then you got Jake Paul, who gets to beat on a nigga a whole foot shorter than him and 100 pounds lighter than him. And I think this is just nasty work. This screams money grab. And you know what? The fans lose in the end on this one. Netflix wins, Jake Paul wins, and Tank wins. We lose.
Promoter Eddie Hearn delivered a scathing critique of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis event, saying it blurs the line between genuine sport and pure entertainment. Hearn argued that when boxing prioritizes spectacle over competition, it risks losing its identity. He views the matchup not as a legitimate fight, but as a business-driven event designed for clicks and pay-per-views rather than athletic achievement. Allowing such contests to gain acceptance, he warned, threatens boxing's credibility by conditioning fans to expect drama over true challenge. The bout has drawn criticism for its extreme mismatch, with Paul usually fighting around 200 pounds and Davis at 135 pounds, prompting accusations of weight bullying. Critics say this undermines boxing's legitimacy, likening it to amateur theatrics or even professional wrestling. At the same time, some praise Davis for prioritizing financial reward, recognizing that he isn't fighting to please purists but to secure a major payday.
Just beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
But you don't think? Sorry. So, I thought we were all unanimous here. Do you think that Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
he's a little man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up,
move on,
and absorbing punishment for walking forward.
Does this matchup between Davis and Paul elevate boxing or signal a deeper decline? Share your thoughts in the comments below.